Okay, this is messy. Okay, embarrassing. But let's talk about Married at First Sight, guys.
I just want everybody to know it's all me. That's all I want. I just want everybody to know it's all me.
It's okay.
I have innocent. I didn't do
I think they're
that.
not.
This what happened when we've been around. We haven't all been on screen together, and we get here. Shit, that sometimes we just go off script a little bit,
Yeah,
and it's
for
y'all
sure.
pleasure. So this is a bit of the back door stuff y'all can see that we do go to ourselves.
Hilarious. All right, y'all. Let's talk about Married at First Sight. Stephen Noy, boring. Okay,
Next.
they get
Next.
boring. I just want him to figure out his life as far as a job. It's okay if you want to chase your dreams and be creative, honey, but you do need to come up with some type of plan. You need to figure out how your dreams and your creativity is going to bring in a check to take care of your family. So that's really all that I have. We can move on to the next.
We gotta give North some smoke. We gotta give
why she want 3 kids? Why she don't want children 3 kids?
And why she mad at that man like LED lights? Why she just put them on white? Bitch, it's pretty. Why you mad? You trying to set a mood?
But I don't want LED lights all up my house either. But I also don't want 3 kids. And my thing is 2 kids and 3 kids is the same goddamn thing. And I feel like I want compromise. I want compromise. I have 3. My cousins have 3. So 3 is the perfect family. And I'm like, but baby, what if you can't have 1? You may not be able to have 1.
Like it's hard to get pregnant. It's hard to get pregnant. I feel like
that is true, which is why I feel like she was asking for too much. Not only that, but this man ain't got no job, and you're requiring for him to have 3 kids.
Here's the thing, though. Doesn't he have a place?
He does.
No, I thought he was in his car.
I thought he had a place.
It was an apartment.
Yeah, his apartment had all the lights.
All the LED lights. So he has a place.
So listen,
her place is full of cat beds.
I know people that make enough money that if they decide to go on a hiatus from working, they have enough money to pay their bills and pay for their life.
That's true.
And to me, I want him to understand that if your freelance thing is what you enjoy doing, then figure out a way to make your money that way versus, you have I know you got something in there and all that, but you have the complexion for protection. So at the end of the day, with the mix that you are, you'll be just fine figuring that out for yourself. I feel like he will be able to make money doing something else that could pay for their family that doesn't have to be a job he hates. And I feel like in order to take care of her, he has to go back to a job that he don't necessarily want to be at versus figuring out how to make that passion project into some real bread for him. But I still feel like he got money saved up because of the way he's living his life. It just doesn't seem like somebody that would not have any money to pay bills and stuff.
The way he spoke made me think the way he spoke about him saying, I have a freelance, he spoke like we do because we know that we can't explain it to people, but we I get a check every month. Okay, so it's like it makes me money. So I think people, and because Noy is new, she may not get that. Oh no, I make money. I have an apartment. I can afford the LED lights. I can afford 2 kids, not 3. So don't make it seem as if I don't have any money. And I'm like, because for me, for instance, I didn't work. I was off work from December, but right before Christmas until I went back a week ago. So it's like you have to be able to have shit saved when you don't get not damn paycheck. Because guess what? You're not at work. And I think that's what he did. He made sure that before he wasn't working, he had shit saved and was able to not worry about money. Because all my bills got paid and there's still money in the bank. So you can be a whole freelance, self-employed person and also have a little regular job or whatever and be good when you're not working. I don't want them to keep labeling him as some bum who need money. And for me, it's weird that she was crying about, I just don't want to have money issues. But bitch, why you want 3 kids if he's not working?
And another thing, you was in what she said, she was in a camp of some sort.
The refugee when she came out.
Refugee camp. Bam. No matter what y'all go through, y'all are never gonna be in a refugee camp again, love. So get that out of your head is your base level. You and him are not gonna go through that. So I feel like she needs to unwrap that fear because that's coming from that place of her not wanting to go back to the dire straits that she came from. But you're not in the same place, period. Like, you're in a better place than your parents were in. So you're never going to be in that place, again. So don't even worry about it. You know what I mean? As long as he can pay his portion or all of whatever, like, it don't even matter.
Feel Good said they labeled Gil a bum who was a firefighter. I said, well, they did label that man a bum. He had a job.
But he was, because we couldn't trace his money. And if we can't do nothing with your money, then you a bum.
They say Steve got a PPP loan. I hope that man get no PPP loan. He gonna go to jail.
Look, he is not Savannah from Growing Up Hip Hop. Cut it out.
Got a PPP loan.
Girl, I can't. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and talk about Lindsay and Mark. Okay, so they done tried to blend their cats together. That ain't happening. Hilarious. Lindsay done finally
in more than one way. In more than one way.
Them cats gonna kill each other.
They are. They look. One of them was hiding under the bed one day. I was like, "Oh, baby, this
her cats hiss. Mine don't hiss." I'm like, "Is that a bad thing? Our cats not supposed to hiss?"
We gotta talk about the damn Easy Bake Stove. Her apartment was much nicer than his, though. Her apartment was nice.
They didn't have to dress in hazmat suits to go inside. First the fuck off.
I don't want bed bugs on my jeans.
I was like,
I wouldn't have went in
regular clothes.
She had to show me pictures.
Clean that place. How dare you have anything to say about her house when she had to help you clean that place?
To me, I feel like whenever I see houses full of wood paneling, I could tell what it smelled like. So I could tell what Mark's place smelled like when I seen the wood paneling.
No,
it was weird.
I wouldn't clean nothing.
He was acting like he's organized, and I'm like, you're not that organized, sir. But the scene of the scene in the house, I felt two things. I felt like her, like, does it bring you joy? I'm like, bitch, it's the mama and daddy plates. Let him keep his parents' plates. Like, why would you ask him on the first thing he picked up? I'm like, it's okay. So I didn't like how she was trying to make him choose quickly when he, like, I know what I want to keep, or like she wanted him to give her things that she felt like he didn't need. I'm looking like,
maybe she was scared she might got ate by bed bugs if they didn't hurry up.
Not on the plate. I'm like, the plate. She like, why do you want to keep your baseball cards? And he said, it's my childhood. I'm like, let them make keep his goddamn baseball cards. You can sell those, and them cats need, the vet bills. But that part I didn't like. But I did feel like her house was really, really small, and so was his. But I felt like his house still seemed bigger than hers, but still small. So I'm like, neither one of y'all places can fit fat cats. So I'm like, to put y'all fat cats, his lights having shit up in the house, plus your cat beds and your goddamn toilet scooper, sit down squatter. It's just too much shit. I'm like, the fact that she put, bitch, because you don't squat. I'm like, we don't need to hear none of that, lady. Just shut up with your cat. They get on my nerve.
I'm like this. Mark turned me off this episode because even though Lindsay is a lot, I feel like he's still not keeping it 100 with her. You still lying about how you're feeling, and she's reading that, and now you're mad at her because she's real enough to say what she's feeling in the moment versus you being passive aggressive and then being an asshole, which is how I read it. And then for him to turn around and say that they didn't have sex, you lying. I believe they fucked. Like when he was on that show, he said they had sex maybe 2.5 times, and she was like, no, we had sex that afternoon, that morning, like they was having sex. And he makes it seem like he didn't want it and they weren't really doing it that much, and she's lying. I'm like, I know Lindsay crazy, but I honestly feel like I can't trust you more than I can't trust Lindsay. Lindsay might be caring and all of that, but it's because she don't know how to hold shit in. She don't know how to calm down. You know how to convince a person you fucking that you feeling them while simultaneously apologizing for her to people and acting like you don't like her. The only reason he was mad about her apartment being so small is because he couldn't get away from her in that little bitty ass apartment. But her shit was nicer than yours. Her vibe was in her apartment. She had that nice brick wall. She had all them windows, that little bitty balcony. Like, it was small. lighting, her plan, like the vibe in her apartment was nice, and you're coming from a bed bug infested, nasty ass apartment, and got the nerve to be looking at her stove like that's a problem, nigga. You gonna cook? So what's you know what I mean? So I just kind of felt like instead of just being real and saying, listen, you did some things that turned me off, he just kept trying to make it about her instead of admitting that he was feeling a way, and then keep making it about her. And I felt like that was unfair at some point.
But I think but he did all that in the end when he talked with Pastor Cal. I think he explained all of that in the end when he was like, you know, you say it all, like it all comes out. He's like, but for me, I can't do that. So because I know how you are, it just makes me not say shit. And because I can get that, how some people are raw and they'll say whatever, and he don't know how to tell her you doing too much without feeling like she gonna then do too much on him. So I think we have to understand
you're
that
a man. Get some nuts about you.
But I know I think we have to understand that some people are just different, and some people process how others react differently, and we have to be okay with that, because he has to be okay with how extra she is, but she has to get how he is not extra. So he's going to go into himself, and that's like people have to.
I think she was open to a lot of his bullshit though. Like I feel like he had a lot of bullshit with him, and she was constantly being accommodating. Even though Lindsay is annoying, every time he had an issue, she was, "What can I do? How can I help?" You might have found issue with that, but how is she wrong for trying to extend herself to her husband? Like, I'm just saying, he was finding an issue with even her, like, offering up help to him. And it's like, so did y'all not expect to move in together once y'all got married? It was almost like he thought there was another option besides moving in with her once his place had the bed bugs. And he was real mad. And I didn't like that. But I do understand what you're saying, that she needs to understand his point of view. And she does. And she needs to be able to take what he's saying without being a Karen. Like, he feels a way, you need to bad back, then bad the fuck back. But I also understand as a person when she says, I'm either all in or I'm not in at all. So you need to decide what you're going to do.
So I thought it was fair for him to feel the way he felt. However, what I couldn't respect was you had multiple opportunities to communicate with your wife what it was that was bothering you, and you kept punking out and you didn't want to do it.
And blaming her.
Yeah, and then Pastor Cal gonna sit here and lie in our faces and say they was a good match because they knew that Mark wouldn't get walked over. He's being dog walked. He's too afraid to say anything, and he was still gonna sit there in that conversation with Pastor Cal and still not say anything unless Pastor Cal would have said, Mark, I think you're afraid. It took Pastor Cal basically pushing him out there to say what he needed to say. So that ain't gonna work. I think Mark has finally reached a point of exhaust, because I know what it's like being around people that's like real high energy.
Energy suck.
Yeah, you mess up when you try to match their energy. And Mark has messed up because from day one, he's tried to at least be complicit with her energy. And if that's not the way you are, then you need to make it clear. She still don't know who he is. So now he's to the point of shutting down. And now you yes, but you're fucking her. That's the thing. You appreciate the aggressiveness and the energy when it comes to the bedroom. But outside of that, you're tired of her ass. So ultimately, he's gonna end up looking crazy.
And that was the thing for me.
Her without wanting to is what really like bothered me on the after show. He was like, I didn't want to have sex with her, and she wanted it. So she's just doing, basically he was saying she would play with herself and be like, come get it. And then he would, be like, she wanted me to join in, so I would join. Well, if she's working on herself and telling you to join in, that's not the same thing as taking your peen out your pants. So I personally felt like, I felt like he was constantly trying to like make it seem like it was all on her. And I was just like, and I was also thinking about all of those issues, the mama / landlady, calling him constantly, the other friend. Like he just seemed like he might be more problematic than he's willing to admit.
Yes. And I believe that 100% that he is based on him being afraid to share certain things with her, right? Just communicating with her, that's just going to create more problems because you feel like you can't communicate. So now you're going to start withholding anything that you think is going to cause an issue. That's where all the miscommunication is coming from. And she's trying to let him know, like, you can talk to me though. Like, that's what I'm trying to do. But I also think a little bit with Mark, I wonder if he grew up in that phase where when he expressed himself as a kid or as he was growing up, if he was disciplined for that. Maybe he felt like he didn't have a voice when he was younger. So now that he gets older, he always takes he goes inward and doesn't really express himself. So that probably has created a lot of issues in the relationships he's had in the past. And here we are with this woman, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, but I just thought it was interesting for him to say that he didn't know her and he don't speak up. That's why he don't speak up. And I said, but you knew her enough to fuck her though. Oh, okay. So I'm not really adding up. They both crazy. They both got issues.
They marrying strangers. They fucking
they need
strangers.
Pastor Cal more often. They need Pastor Cal more often. But I did
They
think it was
do.
problematic for Lindsay to just not even at least see, you know, what he was saying or not understand like how she could come off that would make him feel like he can't share his thoughts.
Like
That-
your daddy
that
said the
proves-
same thing about you. What are
that
you
proves his
talking
point,
about?
though. I think that proves his point in the fact that he put it all out. Okay, this is what's wrong, and she's like, it was just a lot of words. Like, I don't know what he meant. Meaning, I can't. Right, she not listening. I do think on the honeymoon when he told her, you know, I think we should slow down, and she got so pissed. He's like, well, damn, if she pissed about this, I don't want this to be the same thing.
But
Like,
he
when
didn't
I told her my
communicate that
truth,
right that time neither.
Agreed.
right, but that's the thing. When you, if I'm
point.
because I don't know you and how you react to shit. If I say I think we should slow down because how I do things, because he said how you do things and how I do things are different.
Different, right?
And that's the thing. So my thing is, I always say they don't know each other for real. They did get married, they husband and wife, but they still learning each other. Like, they don't know each other's attitudes, how they're gonna react. So if I'm saying, hey, we should kind of slow down, and he could have had the best intention, you know what, we had fixed too fast. So let's backtrack. Now you pissed because I'm saying we moved too fast, and you pissed because I fucked you. But I'm saying now, let's stop fucking because we moved too quick and you kind of got really, really pissed. So now I feel like, well, damn, can I really say how I feel? Because I don't want you mad at me, because I'm used to people being mad at me and I don't want that. I want love and affection from you, what you gave me. But now I'm like, well, damn, you know, so it's a catch-22. I do think when they're good, I like them as a couple.
Yeah,
but when they be
like
on
you
bullshit,
smile
you know,
when they on camera. Like they bounce off each other so well that it's sad that I feel like Mark is not being emotionally honest and Lindsay is acting like a Karen.
I feel like Lindsay,
she like, come on now, Lindsay, you know, you say this and that. Like, I like that he called her out. Like, you know, you have a tendency to say shit without no filter. And you should know that sometimes that's not a good thing. And the fact that she said, oh, I know, further perpetuates you are someone who feel like you can do and say whatever and be that. Listen to react instead of listen to respond. Yes.
That's what she did with Isaac, with OLAJUWON. That's why I think Jay Lee mentioned, I don't know if it was Jay Lee or Bondy, one of y'all mentioned something about basically in so many words, what I gathered was her pretty much being selfish. And I'm so glad that Gigi said it, because that's exactly what I was thinking. She only cares about how she feels in a moment, which is so factual, because we've already witnessed that with how she carried on with OLAJUWON, as though he came down on her and it was just her, like it was all her. And it's like, no, he responded to how you was treating him. So there's that. That's been proven.
Can I say this though? I feel like Lindsay has been the same this entire time. And even though she's problematic as fuck, I feel like he needed to be more direct with her and he wasn't. And I understand that that's not the way he's used to communicating, but that doesn't make it any less true that she needs to hear you directly say, hey, what you, like for instance, when the shit happened on the plane, he should have told her, hey, what you did was a problem for me. Instead, he kind of like, you know, wooed her, coddled her, and then went and apologized to her for her behind her back. And so I feel like she's experiencing a side of him, and then he's going and being a different way when he's not around her. Like, oh, I wanted to fuck you when I was around you because I fucked you. But now that I'm on an interview and you're not in front of me, I'm going to tell everybody that I didn't want to have sex with you and you wanted it, so I did it anyway. And I didn't like that, because that almost felt like you were saying that girl took advantage of you. And that takes
That's
all the
what's cringy.
responsibility.
Yeah, that's real weird.
That really turned me off because I was like, that's you taking accountability away from yourself as a man. You had control of what you did with Lindsay. And you are literally sitting up here telling us that the only reason you had sex with her is because she wanted it and not because you wanted it. And I just kind of felt like that's bullshit. Just say that I was able to fuck her whether I was annoyed with her or not.
I agree. He needs to learn to be more direct with her. Okay. Good stuff. Let's go ahead and get to who is this over here? JASMINA and Michael.
Oh, girl.
Michael, why are you lying? Why are you lying to the people? Number one, JASMINA. First of all, JASMINA is annoying. JASMINA is annoying right off the gate. Michael over here lying. This girl blatantly asked you, have you ever lived with a woman? I don't know if he meant in that sense or another sense. Either way, he lied. He had what,
He
about
said
two
he
roommates?
meant in that sense. On the
Like,
after show, he said, well, I thought you meant with a spouse.
He was playing in that girl face.
I was so confused with the whole thing, but I feel, you know, I'm devil's advocate. I felt two ways. I felt like when she told him, I don't have an issue with the fact that you had female roommates. My issue is that you didn't tell me. I also felt like it's not like he lied before the day when he said, you know, he had lived with somebody. I'm like, he didn't lie up until then. I don't get why, but so for that part, I feel like you can't be mad, but he didn't tell you on the honeymoon. Fine. But once they got back and y'all were talking about living with the opposite sex, and she said, well, you know, I got a male roommate. And when he was like, well, no, I'm like, you've never done, nigga, she has to go to the house. So how you going to explain the two females in the house? It was weird to me. I'm like, why did he lie? And then
because he fucked them.
So
I
when
feel
the
like
girl
he wanted
walked
to get a
out,
reaction out of her.
I
for
think
sure.
he did.
but it's like, why? Because the girl walked out. Okay, I see the female, cool. You say, well, yeah, I live with a girl, whatever. Then at her house, when she said, so is it one girl or two? Well, yeah, there's two. I never said. I was confused on the reason. I'm like, what was the reason to omit it? But see, I think that don't even matter though.
He probably has gotten into the habit of getting close with female clients, and that's how he ended up moving in that house, because he was giving me very much, I'm telling on myself, because you had so many damn opportunities to tell her that you was living with a female or two. When she told you she was living with a man, you could have told her. And then the fact that you sat in the damn house and she had to figure out walking through the house that a woman lived there, and then the girl gonna come walk out the door, and that was awkward as hell. No introduction. I know they don't show you meeting the friends, but the thing is, like, the girl was literally in the house on mute, hiding. That was weird to me that she walked out, and that very much was giving vibes that they had sexual relations.
I think he fucked them both. And I don't think he was in a relationship with them. I just think he fucked them. I think that you a dude, you a trainer, you got two women staying in an apartment with you. We get drunk some nights. Some nights we get drunk and high. Sometimes we was in here and we was looking at each other like, and then it happened. And to me, that's the only reason why you would lie 3 times. He had the opportunity to tell that girl the truth 3 times, and he lied all 3 times. Like he's not on TV, and like she wasn't gonna go to his place. So to me, the only reason you were lying is because you don't want her to know, because you fucked him and you felt guilty about that.
Right, it's a bigger secret attached. That's what he tried.
Yeah, you knew she would be uncomfortable because she probably didn't fuck her male roommate.
Now, I wonder what y'all think about JASMINA speaking on him behind the cameras and him yelling at her. At first, I was like, I don't know, JASMINA, because, girl, we see you on the camera and you're the one who's seen out more of a fool than him.
Girl.
But at the same time, the way he sat up there and lied to her in her face on more than one occasion kind of made me feel like, is he yelling behind the scenes? Does he know exactly what he's doing? And don't want to get caught on camera?
It's a possibility either way. I don't trust either one of them. So it's a possibility that he could have yelled at her with his little bitty ass. Because, you know, a lot of times, you little niggas, even if y'all have a big dick, you little niggas don't know how to act. Y'all feel like y'all got to be heard. You know what I'm saying? Lifting off the ground, trying to be heard.
Lifting off the ground.
I'm just saying, girl, on their toes upset. So I just kind of feel like maybe I'm not because you lied 3 times about something that was no reason for you to really lie about, because we were going to find out the truth anyway, because of that, I personally feel like if you know the cameras aren't around to capture the shit, she might be telling the truth. I wasn't inclined to believe her before, but now that we know how you lie, oh yeah, I'm more inclined to believe that he did what she said he did. But I still feel like she like Alyssa and may not really be attracted to him, and she's looking for a reason, because she held on to the first argument that they had. That wasn't even a real argument, and you held on to that shit like he did something to you, bitch. Like, she's exhausting.
And then she lied.
I'm leaning. What she lied about?
When she said that, when he was talking to her about, like not wanting to stay there because of the dolls, and he was telling her like, we got to figure out how to communicate. And then she turned around and said the real reason is because I need to assess this, and that's why. And it's like, so both of y'all liars at this point. Everybody just
both of them are liars.
Okay.
I'm leaning more towards Michael didn't yell at her. The reason why is I think JASMINA is hypersensitive to any disagreement that comes her way. And I feel like it was early on in the relationship where Michael was always trying to compromise, and he felt that the only way he could win an argument with her was by not fighting at all. So if she said he yelled, he probably was thinking it would be best for him to be like, yeah, I yell sometimes, I'm gonna work on that, and they could move on. But then with the, more disagreements they got into, he figured out that you can't just lay down and surrender, because it's always going to be an argument with her. So now he backtracking and telling Pastor Cal what really happened, which was that, yes, I was aggressive, but I didn't yell. But because you've already decided to take the blame for that, she going to hold it against you. So I think that that's what happened.
I feel like she was full of shit when she said, can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. I'm on the computer. But I feel like when she said, your sisters already said you, I'm like, you can't put with him and the sisters that told you he went through in the past into what y'all going through. Because at that point, you're trying to say, believe what I'm saying because of his history. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you're not saying I really experienced this, but I feel like, he can get more violent. If you that scared, then why you staying? If you feel like he's going to get worse, you don't seem like the kind of person to stick around for that situation. You probably like, you know what? I don't feel safe with him because he may do A, B, C, D, and E. But I'm like, you came back, you want to make it work. I do feel like she wants to make it an issue to either be more interesting this season or she full of shit. I don't think Michael is perfect. This ain't Michael, right? I think he has his flaws too, but I do feel like he be trying not to be on bullshit. And he feel like I wasn't yelling at you. And she feel like because he didn't have his quiet voice on, he was yelling. It's like, no, it was probably a heated conversation. And you're making it seem as if he's this aggressive, mean, possibly abusive man. And he was like, no, I'm not going to let you put that on me. And I feel like as a Black woman, I would not want to put that on a man if that's not really what he is. But I think she would do that because she's not used to even being in the same city or state with a man. So she's used to controlling the narrative because it's phone conversations, it's FaceTimes. You can't handle someone in your face saying, JASMINA, you on bullshit. And when I do that, now I'm the aggressive man. And because you know what's on camera, I can't have proof that it didn't happen. And they're going to believe you because you're the woman.
And you're not going to tell me that JASMINA spending part of her life with a Jamaican daddy and now a Jamaican stepdaddy don't know the difference between aggressive and yelling. So I'm kind of just like...
And I didn't like that she said that either, because I'm like, you know how they like to label Black men. And I felt like one of the things that made me feel like she was lying was because she did use that argument about how, his family said this. That was the same thing ALYSSA said, and that was bullshit. And we see how as soon as the family or the friends say something negative, y'all use that going forward as a way to, make issue with the partner. Yeah, to be a victim. And I just felt like the way JASMINA has been operating the entire time, she's exhausting. So Necey, when you say he realized that he could not win, I totally agree with you on that. And I also feel like because she's beautiful, he was more inclined to want to get along with her versus how she may feel like I don't give a fuck because he not tall or whatever she could have been looking for that would have been an ideal physical mate. I feel like because he had that attraction to her, he was probably more willing to go along and not argue.
Absolutely.
Than she was, because she's the pretty girl, so she wants to be difficult for the sake of being difficult, and it's exhausting to watch, in all honesty, for her to act like that with him. I was just like, girl, he lied to you, but honestly, we all see why. Because even before he lied to you, he just simply disagreed with you about the way the Lindsay shit went down. Simple disagreement in saying that he expected people to have disagreements when they've never been around each other. And you literally made that an argument. I can't believe that you made that argument.
And I was just about to ask y'all, do y'all feel like because he's seen her initially, how because she's gorgeous. So do y'all think because he got past her gorgeousness and he's now seen her ways, he's now less inclined to ignore her bullshit and less inclined to be
honest.
Not right.
Yeah. I think that's why he backtracking now and having to prove himself and say that he didn't yell after he admitted to it. So now he done got himself in a sticky situation trying to fold for JASMINA, and now saying that she's not willing to compromise.
When did he say that he yelled?
Whenever they were at he didn't say yes, I yelled. But whenever at the dinner, whenever she said you yelled, you got loud, you got aggressive, he was like, yeah, I did. I need to work on that. But he didn't flat out say, yeah, I yelled at you.
I'm glad you said that. Here's another thing that I wanted to bring up. Aggressive. You don't get to control the way someone gets upset. And if they're not in your face, if they're not all over you, I feel like it is doing too much to act like people can't, raise their voices when they want to. I understand there's a way to deal with conflict without making the other person feel like you're going to harm them. But I feel like somebody can get upset and still not be about to hit you. I can be loud and be upset in the moment and expressing myself because I'm mad and it not be about me harming you. So when you call somebody aggressive for expressing how they feel, I'm kind of feeling a way about that. Because I don't even like that language to use if somebody isn't like physically imposing themselves on you. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't like how don't tell me how to be mad,
I think she used all the trigger words that people use, to make a person look like the aggressor. So I feel like, because it's like nobody used, he was loud, he was aggressive, you use all the words to make him seem like an angry black man who was, overpowering or the conversation or intimidating you versus just saying we had an argument and he got too pissed and I felt disrespected.
Yes.
You use the words to make it to paint
those specific aggressive. And that makes us wonder, do we have to worry about him putting his hands on you when that may not be the situation at all? When I tell y'all, nobody wants to see Lyric get upset. I've only seen Lyric get really upset maybe 3 times the entire time we've been in this relationship, and I mean angry, and to the point where he's loud and moving his hands around a lot. And it's like, oh Lord, because he's never like that. But I would never assume that the next thing after, being upset and doing like this means that the next thing is to hit me. That's not in my mind that I'm going to get hit because he's like physically upset. So I just
it might be like, in hers though. That's why I feel like she's hypersensitive to any type of confrontation, just based on the way she handled herself. Anytime there's been confrontation in a group, she's either tried to make shit make sense where it don't make sense, like caping for ALYSSA, or she sit there and she quiet the whole time, which tells me you probably hate conflict of any level except when it comes to your man, which is crazy to me.
But when they were talking about the cow, she was more hyped than he was. I'm like, you the one yelling, and I feel like the way
she didn't even bring up the lie. It wasn't even about the lie.
I was about to say, they didn't talk about that.
The way she came off was like, I can't imagine him yelling and fussing and you not matching his energy, because right now he calm and you yelling and fussing. So her energy to me was not that of someone who, if someone is coming at you, you're going to be like, let me not say nothing because he's so aggressive. No, you're going to say, Michael, we not finna do that, because that's your energy. So I think how she said how off camera he different, but so are you. And you let your slip show. a little bit, your slip showed in that little bit of a thing. Even if he was able to control himself in that moment, you couldn't. So are you just like him, to where when the cameras are off, you're a whole different person too? So I'm like, don't paint him as an angry black man, even if he's a fucking liar. Don't paint him as an angry, aggressive, possibly abusive black man, because you sensitive off camera.
I think she do match his energy off camera, because that's what she's been showing us. And when we hear about her family history, I feel like that's what she used to. So that's how she, I guess, display her love and affection or whatever, girl, yelling at the folks. But let's go ahead and get into OLAJUWON and Kat. First of all, Pastor Cal came to the house. It's the fact that he said that this was never a deal breaker for him to have his woman to cook in the kitchen. And what it gave me was him trying to do the most for television. And what I also don't care for about OLAJUWON, it seems like he's going to do a lot of dictating in the relationship and setting the direction for the relationship. But when it comes to Kat, she's not going to have a whole lot of much of a say, and she needs to go ahead and put her foot down now, even though he feels like, well, I know that I have a wife that's just not going to let me do and say whatever. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if she's gonna be able to like really put her foot down all the way.
When Pastor Cal asked her, do you feel respected in a relationship? And she said, well, yeah, because I told him blah, 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 blah. And then when Pastor Cal then asked Ola, well, do you respect her? The fact that he said, well, she knows I respect you, don't you? I was like, why didn't you just say, yes, I respect her, absolutely. Why would you have to say to her, well, she know, don't you? That's a trigger that men use to let the woman know who they know is less, who's under their spell. You know what I'm saying? You let them know, hey, you need to say yes.
Yeah,
so
he was trying to convince her to go along. Yes.
How? What spell? They haven't fucked.
I think
I don't believe that.
Be married.
I don't believe it either. Yeah. I think she lying, because I think Katina fucked him after the first night.
Oh, really?
Or
I was thinking it was after the rose petals
and stuff. Yep.
Yeah. Either way, and the reason why is because he skipped the gym the next morning. You know, he'd be feeling all lit.
I was just thinking they was in the bed making out. And I feel like if we've been drinking, we just got married and we in the bed making out, and you like on top of me, like he was, like it wasn't just we about to go to sleep, good night kiss. They was making out in the bed. So I was just trying to understand how y'all didn't fuck, if not for the fact that she just don't know you like that and she needed another date. And I respect that, but I feel like they fucked, because otherwise, why would you be letting him do all of this? He another one like Paul.
He is just like Paul. But what's funny is, I think that they're going to stay together, because I think Katina, he has a really slick, sneaky way of trying to convince her and mold her to be how he wants her to be. He instills pride in her being a wife. From day one, he'll always say something real nice to be like, but I'm your husband, you're my wife. And she has a sense of pride with that. So I think that she feels good about, oh, well, he really wants me to cook. This is the most pressure I ever felt. I guess I'm going to have to do it. But, okay, another piece of advice I heard from somebody. Before you get married, once you get married, do not start doing shit that you didn't do before, because you ain't going to be able to keep up with that, Katina. You ain't going to be able to cook 3 meals a day, 5, 6, 7 days.
And why should you?
So it's all cute. He's
an adult.
It's cute.
He's an adult. Even Pastor Cal was like, that's 250s even for me. Like, even I can fix my own fucking lunch. Like, now we're just being ridiculous.
Just rude.
Yeah, but she likes that.
She likes it until
she don't. She like it until she don't.
Yeah, but I don't
see her staying. I think in the end, I hope it's a part of me that feel like she gonna realize he's trying to make me be someone he's not. I feel like when Pastor Cal said he didn't even want that beforehand, I felt like she was like, oh. So I do hope it's more of those moments of he's telling you he wants this, but that wasn't an issue for him before he got here. So don't let him make you feel like, well, he always said he wanted this. Like, Noi always wanted 3 kids. Cool. That's what she wanted beforehand. But he can't put all this pressure on you for something he didn't care about. If he can't cook, let him starve. You not his mama. You his wife. And my thing is, it's 50-50, not the 50. So it's like, it's weird that she's, you know what I'm saying? She's accepting things that she know she shouldn't do, but because he wants it and we married, let me try to do that. I think that's going to make her kind of start feeling like, I don't like this. he keep doing.
I think she
hope he
already
push it
feeling
too
like
far.
that, but she lying.
Exactly.
And I feel like she can also be manipulated because neither one of them grew up in a household where they saw husband-wife dynamic. So both of them are just doing shit that they see on TV, shit that they think is cute. But speaking of his mama, y'all, that house that he was in, I get the vibe that that's his brother and his brother's wife's house. Because that coffee decoration was giving every bit of Family Dollar, Big Lots, female old lady energy. And he mentioned that him and the brother work out in the basement. So I think him and Katina just didn't want to say that he lives with them.
They all live together. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did they say that before?
Shout out to Jamie.
I believe it. I believe it. Okay, let's go ahead and get to Chris and Alyssa. Okay. I didn't want to see them. I really didn't, but I'm so grateful for what ended up happening. Okay. What I wanted to say about them real quick, I didn't like that she was talking to her mama and she was over there lying about that man, talking about him being combative. He likes to debate and he's argumentative and all that other stuff. She said, I hate it because everything she described about him was her. Another thing is, I also hate the fact that she had the audacity to sit up there and say that this man lacked respect for others when it's been you this entire time that's been lacking respect for others. Then you used an example of the fact that he said defund the police. Girl, get this woman off my screen. And
Does she not understand? Like, you don't even know what you're talking about.
1000% don't know. I said, get this woman off my screen. When he came in there and sat out with Pastor Cal and said, I want a divorce, I said, you better round up a song.
What I love was how I love how he let her talk, and he kind of wasn't saying like, I'm gonna let her sound real dumb, get it all. I'm here because I want to see if we can make it work. I have a better head on I'm home now, and I was like, bitch, what?
No.
When her mama asked her, what are y'all differences, and she couldn't. No, when he asked her on the honeymoon thing last week, what are our issues? She couldn't tell him. I'm like, she never can really explain to anybody what their issues was.
Because they've never had a real conversation, and she keeps saying, stupid. I noticed things. Bitch, y'all never interacted. What are you talking about?
That. And I'm like, so I like that he was like, let her look dumb. Because since the wedding night, you haven't wanted to be around him. And now all of a sudden, we had so much fun paddleboarding and playing tennis, but you was talking cash money shit to production while doing those things. Okay, you was talking cash at all times. And Chris, the smirk on
calling him aggressive. Calling him aggressive every time that he said something she did not like. That was another thing that made me think about Alyssa's friendship with JASMINA.
Well, they both on bullshit.
She kept trying to pull shit out of her back pocket to make her mom think he was a horrible person. She would mention one thing, her mama would say, well, he's nice. She would mention another thing, the mama would say, well, he's cute. Then she'd be like, but he doesn't back the blue. I think her shit from a mile away whenever she came on the TV screen talking about she wanted a cowboy and also talking about how much she loved dogs, because I don't know why these, less than decent people love animals but don't have no regards for human life. And that's exactly who the fuck Alyssa is. And I'm so glad that he allowed her to show her ass. He allowed her to turn around and say, I'm willing to make this work. And he was like, I think it's a lot of things that you want, but it doesn't involve a marriage. So for that, I'm gone. And when he said that, I have to say, I've never seen anybody on this show in this situation respectfully call it quits as fast as he did. So that's why I was like, yes, Chris, go get you somebody way better than Alyssa. I would love to see him date on this show. And he took away what Alyssa really wanted, which was
to be on the
experience. The
experience.
Or to be on the show.
I think he knew.
That's why she cried.
Because I think he knew. She's saying this because production probably told her, if you don't move in the house with him, it's no point in y'all continuing. I think she knew production was going to probably make them separate because you don't want to be with him. That's why she came.
You see how she tried to look comfortable?
I want to make it. I want to.
Before Pastor Cal showed up.
Yeah,
I was shocked.
And I think she knew. Because she knew she wanted to be on the show. And he knew too.
That's all
so
she wanted.
I'ma leave because this ain't gonna work. No man, and I was happy. She should not have went on the honeymoon. I'm still pissed that she went on the honeymoon.
Me too.
Oh, heifer.
Can't stand her.
Is that all we got for
I can't
Married
have
at
the
First Sight?
experience. Why can't I have the house
Yep,
and
that's
the
all
And
I
then she
got.
kept crying. I'm sorry. The fact that she kept crying, I was so aggravated. I was like, bitch, if you don't stop crying, okay,
Yeah.
nobody
Because
cares.
she got to pay rent now. She don't want to pay rent. She want that free rent for a month. And then see, I want to hang out and get free drinks. She wanted to be on the show to just be on the show. And I feel like if she was smart, she would have just played Chris the whole time to be on the show. But I love the most is production. Production has never showed so many production conversations with a cast member ever on all the seasons. They rarely ever do that unless they know this person was a complete asshole and they're gonna try to make it seem as if they were great. With who?
They did that with Miss Brandon from North Carolina.
Because he was
Brandon
that's my
and
thing.
Taylor.
They make sure when somebody shows their ass and gonna try to blame production or whoever else. No, let's show all of her moments of her behind the scenes shit talking about him. So when she keeps saying, "But I was so nice to him, I was so nice," but you was dogging him and ignoring him the whole time. So I love production for showing how much of an asshole she was. And Chris was saying, "Today is my decision day. I want a divorce." And I was like, yeah, because fuck
I
Alyssa.
loved it.
Oh,
smart. Anything else?
My divorce. My divorce. That's all I want to say.
Divorce.
All right, y'all. So we're done with Married at First Sight.